Hey, I'm Daniel Bosman at 8035. We're sitting outside of Starbucks here. Yeah.
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally. We had to escape the noise from Titus and Drodicus. Joined by the Handsome Furs, very nice surprise, Dan and Lexi?
Yep.
Is that, there's an A at the beginning, right?
Alexi.
So
Yeah.
it is Alexi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a Russian boy's name.
It's a Russian boy's
Given to
name.
me by a Cuban father.
There you go.
Who knows?
Well, the Handsome Furs, Dan and Lexi, I know you're from Montreal. Are you from Montreal?
I'm from Montreal. He's actually from the West Coast.
I'm from British Columbia originally.
Oh, okay.
From a really small town on Vancouver Island.
So you guys are both Canadian,
Yeah.
but on opposite sides. Okay. I've been a fan of your other band, Wolf Parade, for a long time, and so it's been fun to watch the Handsome Furs develop. The first album, now it's going to escape my mom. Plague Park. Plague Park, Face Control, Sound Capital. The first album, Plague Park, is much more scaled back.
Yeah.
It seems slower, and
it is slower.
It is slower.
Drastically so. It's about half as fast as the new record.
It is, and you know, at first it kind of, the upbeat parts, what hooked me was, your songs are always my favorite in Wolf Parade, so that's kind of what took me over to the Handsome Fur show. But then catching it live, you don't necessarily play it, you know, as slow.
No, we don't.
No.
And we started playing it quicker as the shows kept going.
Yeah, it's
so.
Well, kind of what I pictured, you know, and I don't know your musical background as much, but you're a lead guitarist, you know, you take the lead on guitar. Were you getting into playing the electronics that you do at that time, and still figuring it out for yourself?
It was such a learning curve at that time. I
Okay.
mean, we had just started, so yeah.
I mean, I'd never sang over electronic beats and keyboards and sequence stuff before.
Yeah.
And Alexi never really programmed drums before, so the first record we were just, I mean, every record's been really fun to make, but that record was just us kind of going crazy in the studio and like crossing our fingers and hoping everything.
Seeing what you were gonna, seeing what you were gonna find.
Yeah.
Well, then with Face Control, you can tell you found your sound more.
Yeah.
Because you know, with that album, it seemed like there was more promotion behind it.
Yeah. And we played live so much more that we knew what we wanted to be doing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
As soon as we started this band, we just started relentlessly touring.
Okay.
And you know, like Plague Park was recorded before we really started touring as much as we wanted to.
Okay.
So I think the touring just fed back into the songwriting.
Getting better.
A mandate of this band is trying to play in the places that often get overlooked, and the Midwest of America is one of those places where a lot of bands don't have on their regular touring circuit. And for both Dan and I mean, whether it's Chiang Mai, Thailand, or you know, Des Moines, Iowa, we want to play in as many places that are overlooked as possible.
Yeah.
So.
Which is what I thought when you guys played Ames. It was like, oh my God, they're playing Ames.
I mean, we play Bowling Green, Ohio. We'll play anywhere.
That's something that should be said is that, you know, a couple of years ago when we were touring our last record, Phase Control, we did the coasts a couple of times, and then our booking agent asked us, would you like to do an extended tour in the Midwest, like not just Minneapolis and Chicago and, you know, out to Fargo, but would you like to actually play small, you know, like you said, in third-tier markets? And when we were both growing up, we both grew up in fairly small towns in Canada, and nobody that I liked ever came to my town.
We had to drive hours to see any bands we wanted.
So 2 years ago when we got off of this tour that included Ames and Iowa City and, like Alexi said, Bowling Green, Ohio, we played 4 shows in medium-sized towns in Ohio. That was kind of our mandate. It was like, we grew up in small rural Canadian towns that were off the map for most bands we liked, and whenever anybody came, I always felt really grateful. So I feel like it's important that bands come and tour.